Creating looks that sell all starts with artwork. I'm going to be showing you how you can create a knockout design using two colors that looks like it's layered, but it's not, and it's all based off of how you're creating your design to get this effect. I'm going to be showing you how you can create this in our free online artwork program, CadworxLIVE. Let's check it out. So beginning in CadworxLIVE, you can see that I have brought up here my text and my clip art that I'm going to be using to create my artwork or my knockout design. All right, so I have the desired text that I want in here, which would be the personalization for my customer, and then the clip art that I'm going to be using to knock out the center of my text. All right, so the first step in creating a knockout design, after you already have your clip art and text brought in, is duplicating the text that you have created. So you can see when I click on this, everything's combined, and I did that by using the condense tool under my shaping tab. I need to duplicate this text because I'm going to be using this later in order to create my knockout design, but I am going to change the color because whenever we combine these, I'm going to need to know what's what. All right, so make sure that you change your color so that they aren't the same, because you're going to need to know the difference between the two in some of the steps later on. All right, so I'm going to push that off to the side and focus on my original text and clip art here. All right, and I'm going to drag my football over and make sure that it is on top of my text. So I'm going to right click that and click to front. All right, so I can either eye this up to find center and middle of the text, or I can select both of the text and the clip art and then select the align tab, and then an option under that tab is going to be center middle. That's the tool I'm going to use so that I know that it's exactly where I need it to be in the text. All right, so whenever you are choosing clip art, just one of the best practices in getting the knockout design to show up correctly is to get a pretty solid piece of clip art. All right, so it's really easy to do that by just finding silhouettes. This piece of clip art was actually sourced from Etsy. SVGs by Lisa is where this was purchased from. So just keep in mind you can import different fonts and clip art depending on what your customer wants. All right, so I imported this. This isn't something that came from the actual clip art designer, but just know whenever you are choosing clip art for these, you are choosing something that's pretty solid, nothing that's multicolor, because that is just going to create more steps in creating the knockout design. All right, so we are all lined up. So my first step is to select both of the text and the clip art here. And I'm going to go to the shaping tab and go down to back minus front. All right, this is going to take the clip art and punch it through my text. All right, so whenever I remove this football here, you can see that it is completely punched out what was behind it. Before I move on to the next step, what I'm going to do now is double click my text, and I'm going to add a small contour. This is going to just create the next knockout step a lot easier, so that nothing is showing up from the text that's going to be behind it, which will make a lot more sense whenever we move to that step. So I'm going to go to the offset, and you can see how much that increased the thickness of the text. And I don't want it to be that thick, so I'm going to decrease my offset to 0.01. And then I'll click OK. Okay, so now that I've added that contour, I'm going to select my royal text and bring that up to the text that I just edited, and I'm going to drop that behind there, so now you can start to see that football starting to be created as I'm moving that text up there. All right, so now what I need to do is select both of those, the royal and the silver text, and go to align and make sure everything is center and middle so that I can't see any royal edges on any of the text. The only royal I want to see is where it's filling in that football shape. All All right, so I can still see a little bit of edge there. All right, so I'm gonna reselect both of those and click my center middle again. Now, if I want to zoom in on this so that I can really make sure that nothing's there, I can zoom in and make sure that there is no royal edges showing around my silver text. All right, so it looks like we're good. I can zoom back out. All right, so now we're gonna do that same step we did earlier whenever we were punching the clip art through. We're gonna go to shaping and back minus front. All right, so now all I have is my silver text and my royal clip art that has the shape of the letters in there, creating that knockout design. So that will just drop right in there. Now I can cut this out in whatever colors that I want to use for this bulldog's mom. All right, so whatever school colors that are used for this, that's what I can change these to, and then I know what to cut out for the heat transfer vinyl. So I can go ahead and remove this clip art. If I want to add additional personalization, maybe to increase profitability, I can add what number their son is playing on the football team. Use the same font that I did earlier. All right, select that. Okay, and then I can drop it down and size it to however I need it. All right, and then I can also change this color to the same color as my football so that it's matching. And that is how you create a knockout design. So very simple in CadworxLIVE. There are a lot of steps, but once you get used to using those couple tools that you use to create a knockout design, the better you'll be at it. So just keep that in mind. This type of technique is ideal for heat transfer vinyl that can't be layered, especially glitter, and creating mixed media looks and multicolor looks with heat transfer vinyl. For more tutorials on CadworxLIVE, subscribe to the Stahls TV YouTube channel.